Hello people of the web, and welcome back to another episode from the Vanilla High server. Over the last couple of days, Hushbug and I have been discussing linking the cove that she's been working on with the trophies and trinkets hall that we built a couple of episodes ago. At first I started digging out the tunnel and decorating as I go, so that in theory I could do it all the way to the cove and then just break down that wall for a big reveal. However, after doing the math, it works out to be quite a long tunnel, so I'd be doing this for much longer than my patience would allow me to. I brought Hushbug in and we did the tunnel all the way down. Now of course this needs decorating, but we'll get to that at a later point. Now Hushbug has kindly agreed to do the decorating on the far end of the tunnel, where it links up to the cove, and I've got my own side project that I need to do, and then once we both finish, we should be able to finish this tunnel together. My side project is actually something that's inspired by the fact that I looked through all of my screenshots and discovered that I have coordinates for a zombie spawner that's actually not too far from here. It's in that direction. So what I'm going to do is make a zombie grinder. Seems sensible enough. Do I pick this one or this one? We'll go with this one, that's nearest the door. I need to spend a little bit of time working out how far down I need to go and how far along, which means finding that screenshot again. I probably should have saved it to my desktop, make it easier to find. The fact that I can hear the groaning is reassuring, I think. Though, I am at the wrong Y level, so it might be underneath me. Oh, I found it! I don't know why I didn't light it up. Well, there's a lot of them. Luckily, I have my death stick. Ow. If only I knew how to use it. Now luckily for me, mobs are still turned off, so I don't really need to worry about the rest of the caves for now. You're likely wondering why I want another grinder when we've already got a guardian farm and a skeleton farm. Well, currently guardians are still not dropping out the farm with mobs turned off, and one grinder isn't enough for two people sometimes. Plus, this is a little bit more local to where Hushbug and I are currently working, so makes sense to have a local XP grinder. Plus, when finding out that this is here, seems a shame not to make a project out of it. At first I was thinking about turning them into drowned and then killing them, but unfortunately the method I was thinking of would cause them harm by dropping them and then putting them into a conversion chamber, which according to the wiki wouldn't work because when they turn into drowned, their health resets, which means really I need to make them into drowned first and then drop them to take damage, which is quite a difficult thing to work out how to do because I need to put them in a chamber for 30 seconds and then drop them out. I think I'm just going to keep it as a zombie spawner. Save my head hurting too much. When I'm making a grinder, what I like to do is dig out the room so it's a full 9x9 area, which is the spawning space for the spawner, and leave everything open before closing it off, working out how far back I can stand without the spawner turning off. Apparently, it's here, which means we're probably going to end up with an AFK spot about here. That seems reasonable. I need redstone lamps, and Hushbug has used all of the glowstone. This villager doesn't seem to want to trade. A few of the ones down here, as soon as I open up the UI, it closes. I found one more villager willing to do glowstone, and I'm up to 12 glowstone, which is not very much. Should be enough though. So just need to grab a few more supplies from the storage area and then I'll head back over that way. I love it when it's raining. Whee! Oop, ouch. I really should get around to replacing that bottom layer so we can get rid of the prismarine. But that would require making the redstone again. I'll do it another time. While of course the room will need to be dug down, it kind of makes sense to do the ceiling while I can reach it. Plus, as well as that, once I've lined the ceiling and hooked up these redstone lamps, we can turn those lights on and I don't have to worry about the light in the room that will be lost when I break these walls. Much easier. Now this is something I haven't done before. Birch and dark oak in the ceiling. It may look horrible and I might have to redo it, but I'm hopeful. We'll see how it turns out. I do love stripped dark oak though. It's certainly different and I don't hate it. It's a little bit horrible when you're this close, but of course when I view it, which you'll find out how we're doing that later, it'll be from more like this angle, so yeah, that looks better. Before we work on the room, let's hook up this redstone so we can enable the lamps. There, lights all working. It's not the final iteration of how the redstone will be because it's we've got 5 of the lights on at one time and then the last 3 turn on 1 tick later. I'd rather have them all at the same time. And while that's not really noticeable, it still offends me. And this is certainly a bit different from anything I've done before. It's alright, I like it. I am a little bit concerned about how far the light reaches down. It should be bright enough, although I suppose it'd be sensible to test it by breaking all the torches and seeing if anything spawns. Oh, and the floor needs to go down another block. The other thing that would have been smart is not placing my shulkers in this room, but doing it up the stairs. Because now I'm working around my stuff. Nothing seems to be spawning. Well, that's reassuring. Part of the reason I wanted to decorate the room was because I wanted some way of viewing in there. Because, well, if I'm going to build a room, I might as well try and make it pretty and add a viewing gallery. Obviously, the light would bleed through the glass, so this room needs to be dark. And for that, we have slabs. Oh, not birch slabs. Thank you. So if I lay these on the floor, it's perfectly safe in here, even if it's dark. Although we probably want to be a couple blocks wider. I'm actually liking the view enough that I'm second guessing whether I want to have my AFK spot up at the top of the stairs here, or whether we turn, say, sooner in the tunnel, like here, and start going down to the room with the window, which seems quite sensible. I'm going to have to talk to Hushbug, see what she thinks. After much consideration and deliberation with Hushbug, it's been decided that this should be the AFK room, and then we can see in on the spawner. And all we have to do is make sure this room is slabbed. Luckily for me, I can put the stairs up like this and not have to worry about things spawning on them because they're not valid spawning spaces. I think we're not far from done. I just need to remember how to make an elevator to get zombies up, which should be fairly familiar to me by now, with any luck. So if I take my boots off, I'll be a zombie. And without any hands, pulls me along and pulls me up to this water source and zoop up. While eventually I plan to put some of the mechanics in similar to how we have at the skeleton farm, a simple slab on top of a hopper should do for now. We can later put in the redstone for turning on and off the auto-killing mechanism. The important thing is, let's get the drop lined up and start earning some XP while I'm here. As I need to make the drop 23 blocks, a sensible thing would be to use 23 blocks to pillar up. And I know I'm at the right height. Might as well be sea lanterns, and then I'm lighting up as I go. Oh. I wasn't expecting the water. This is interesting. Well, seeing as we have to bring the zombies up to this height, we might as well put a glass tube in and we can watch them. And I need to make sure that when I cap it off, I do it with solid blocks above so that they don't burn in the sunlight. Although this is going to eat up all of the glass I brought with me. Which, in fairness, I didn't bring a lot, but I wasn't expecting to need to do this. We are really struggling today with the server. But I can still find my way home. Oop, if I can land it. Oh, as I'm down here, I should say I found time to change all the blocks. Yes, it was a bit of a nightmare, but at least it's done now. I've just realised replacing all of this glass, I can't really test it because, well, the only way to test it is to finish it. Which means that potentially I could finish it and then test it to find that I've done it at the wrong height. My idea of 23 blocks was just from memory. So, boy do I hope I was right. Right, now that's done. I could test it works, but I'm pretty sure it does. Just need to see whether the fall damage is correct, which means I need to turn the lights off. And I haven't actually run the redstone to where I can reach. There. Yep, that spawned zombies. I think I've got my heights right because these guys are surviving. But if we get rid of these guys in here and this slab, the next zombie that falls down should, in theory, have instant death. Yep, see? The difference a slab can make. So my plan is to leave this running while I decorate the room and the staircase. At least I can repair some of my pick, which is suffering a little bit. All I've done is added a few chests over here, and I really haven't been in the area very long, but I've been killing the zombies when they back up a little bit, and good number of outputs. While it's probably not worth doing, I have covered the back walls with wood, just because I didn't like the look of seeing the occasional bit of stone. You are very loud. While sipping on my tea, I've managed to install an XP mode toggle, and also the sorting system is done. So if we kill all of these guys and then quickly run round, we might be able to see it working. Yeah. So the items come up here and get spat across onto these hoppers. Rotten flesh ends up in the first two, and then everything else just goes into the 3 other rows. I just realised I forgot to sort out the filters, which means I need some items to go in these hoppers here. I can move there, and 4. And same for this one. A little bit of self-promotion. If you haven't already, feel free. I have to say, I didn't realise you got that many iron ingots from zombies. And with our iron farms not working, this is now technically our only source of iron. Except for mining, but I'm not going to do that, that's far too much effort. I've discovered a flaw. I'm relatively happy with just using terracotta on the walls. However, I'm now out of regular terracotta. And there isn't a mesa biome particularly close to me. So what I need to do is either find someone to sell me some, or go look through my screenshots for when I last found a mesa. After reaching out in chat, I was trolled by Tofu, who offered to sell me some terracotta, and then proceeded to tell me he didn't actually have any anyway. So I had to go through all my screenshots, and apparently I discovered this place a lot longer ago than I remember, because I had to scroll through a few hundred screenshots to get this location. But I've now got a few stacks of terracotta, and I can head home and finish off that little tunnel. Must remember not to drop any terracotta though, because don't want to waste it. Now the corridor's finished. It's nothing fancy, but it's tidy and clean. I could do with some signs though, but I'll do that next time I visit. For now, I'm quite happy to leave it as it is. We have a working grinder. Oh, and I put the switch on for the lights. See? Works nicely. Seeing as I've finished my side project, I thought I'd check on how Hushbug's doing. Now, she dug out the stairwell and she's started lining the walls with a lot of jungle wood, which I know that we haven't got a lot of. So I have a choice. I could either start working on decorating the tunnel, which is this bit down here, or I could farm a load of jungle logs and leave them in the chest here as a present, which I think she'd probably appreciate more. Normally when I'm farming trees, we've done it near the cove area because there's big open space. However, with all the digging we've done recently, I can afford to do it here, which means that we'll have several farms loaded. That's a weird rendering glitch. It's into the cactus farm. There, magic. And because it's raining, easy way to get to the top of the tree. Now in the storage area, we only had 16 jungle tree saplings. I don't know whether we're short on them, or whether Hushbug's just taken them all and put them in a chest at the cove. But rather than taking the risk, I'm using my fortune pick, because I can't afford to run out of saplings. Oh, there's one. After fortuning pretty much all of the leaves and having, 10 left, I probably had about 5 saplings, which just shows how stingy jungle trees are. And then the last 5 or 6 leaves, I got a sapling from each. So, 11, which means I can stop fortuning leaves. I hate having to do that. Such a pain. Well, the rain stopped, so it's much harder to riptide. I think I've got enough jungle logs. Now I just need to deposit them. Hopefully Hushbug appreciates the shulker at the top of the stairs, and when she comes down she'll be pleased that I've done a lot of the foundation work. So the main tunnel running through, yeah, that's done. Just need to do all the bays at the side and the ceilings. Although that's probably going to be something for another time. Although I do have a few resources on me, so I might as well use up what I've got and make a head start. And that's as far as we're getting. I've very much enjoyed this project, and while the design is very simple, it's good that I've branched out from using spruce and stone brick. Although that is exactly what the tunnel is made of. That's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. I look forward to reading your comments. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Now I'm heading off to make a cup of tea. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye now.